I think I might need to get away from Dragon Ball for a little while. Like, I'm reaching that point. Super dope. Welcome into Dragon Ball Super Dope. Thank you for checking this out. My name is Kyle. Blah, blah, blah. All right. A little bit of a different episode today in that I initially did have plans to do like real Dragon Ball stuff. And I got together with Raysean the other night and we BS'd for a while, hung out, talked about basically everything. A little bit of Dragon Ball, but just about a bunch of other stuff. And before I knew it, like 2 hours had passed. And I was like, well, I guess we're not recording about Dragon Ball tonight because I just recorded us BSing. So you're going to hear like a shortened version of that. But there's a couple of quick Dragon Ball things I wanted to make sure I mentioned in case you haven't already heard them. I imagine you probably have, though. It's not super crazy news, I don't think. First of all, movie Dragon Ball Superhero has an official release date in Japan. I think I said that last week, April 22nd, 2022. I did also see today that Thailand got their official release date announced for June 2nd, 2022. I think the American release date will probably be in between those two. If you remember, they did a Japanese premiere for Broly. I think it was like 2 full weeks before they did the like countrywide release and released it concurrently in America. So I don't think we'll have to wait too much longer after April 22nd, which will be pretty cool. There was also a new graphic released in conjunction with this film that I'm going to read to you real quick. It's just more about, it's a Gohan movie, so get excited about that. And then there was also some comments made by the executive producer of the film, Akio Ioku. Hopefully that's not too bad of a pronunciation of his name that I'm going to talk about in just a sec. But let's talk about this graphic first. It's got pictures of, basically all of your characters down at the bottom. So I'm going to work from right to left because people we know. Gohan, and right underneath it says, has latent powers even more than his father Goku. Gohan, voiced by Masako Nozawa. Next to him is Piccolo. Gohan and Pan's reliable mentor. Piccolo, Toshio Furukawa. Let's see. Gamo 1, calm and collected android, voiced by Hiroshi Kamaya. I don't know why I started saying these names. Gama 2, he's a heroic android, as opposed to number 1's calm and collected. So interesting that they point those two out. Gama 2 is voiced by Mamoru Miyano. Jesus. Goku, in case you forgot, he is a Saiyan raised on Earth and voiced by Masako Nozawa. Vegeta, Goku's eternal rival, is voiced by Ryo Horikawa. Pan, Gohan's energetic daughter, is voiced by Yuko Minasuchi. Oh, Jesus. The genius scientist. So this is the little fat kid drinking the ice out of the red ribbon cup in the trailers that we've seen. Dr. Hedo, Hedo. Could be Hedo, could be Hedo, I'm not sure. He's a genius scientist, in case you didn't know that. Miyu Irino. Irino. Who the fuck? Why am I doing this? This spelling bullshit. Dr. Hedo's his name. That's all you care about. You care about the voice actor? Probably goddamn not. I'm saying it for myself mostly. And we'll probably continue to say the rest of their names because I am, like that. The next guy is Magenta, the new commander of the Red Ribbon Army, voiced by Volcano Ota. And then Magenta's aide, his name's Carmine, and he's got a funny-ass hairdo, voiced by Ryota Takeuchi. So Carmine, Magenta, and Dr. Hedo. Hedo, oh, it's got to be Hedo, because he's obsessed with superheroes, you know what I mean? It's got to be Hedo, Hedo. So that's the bottom part of it. There's a couple of pictures up at the top, including Magenta talking to Dr. Hedo. The evil organization behind all of this is the Red Ribbon Army? Yes, it is. I saw the logos. The Red Ribbon Army is an evil organization that was defeated by Goku in his youth. Their remnants continue to threaten the world. The Red Ribbon Army is back using a pharmaceutical company as cover. Dude, pharmaceutical companies are truly the downfall of this fucking country. And I guess maybe Japan's trying to rub it in our faces. They have socialized healthcare there. I don't know. Dr. Hito, a genius scientist, dispatches new androids. Why the fuck's a pharmaceutical company need superhero androids? That's weird. Let's see. A clash of superheroes rendered in the most finest quality. That's a nerd Gohan with his glasses, headbutt, and it looks like Gamma 1, I believe. Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, who call themselves superheroes, clash with Gohan and Piccolo. The battle between the superheroes is vividly portrayed through the intense, swift, and finely rendered visual details, as well as flexible camera work. So, get ready for that video game cutscene feeling throughout the entirety of it. I don't know. I should probably stop it. I'm trying to read this. This is a very big graphic on my very small phone screen, so the zoom jobs are screwing me up. Goku and others make us tremble with their newly awakened strengths. Goku and his friends have been improving their skills after their deadly battles with Frieza and Broly. With the addition of Gohan, Piccolo, Granddaughter Pan, this movie is sure to appeal to audiences of all ages with more intense battles and an even more dramatic story. Oh boy. This will be the most talked about movie. As we enter the year 2022, let's take a look at some of the works that are sure to make a buzz, starting with the latest addition to the extremely popular anime series. You are sure to be gripped by the many great works, blah, 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 blah. Great. So basically everything I just read to you is like little captions on the sides of pictures for this graphic. If you haven't seen this graphic, it's probably because you don't pay attention. Go check out Twitter. But there is a good hefty paragraph in here that I'm now going to read because it seems to have the bulk of the information here. So let's see. It's been 4 years since Dragon Ball. Jesus Christ, 4 fucking years? Really? Is that right? It's been 4 years since Dragon Ball Super Broly made a massive record of 13.5 billion yen at the worldwide box office. The long-awaited new movie, Dragon Ball Super Superhero, will be released in Japan during the Golden Week in 2022. In this movie, the Red Ribbon Army, which Goku had destroyed in the past, is the new powerful enemy that poses a great danger to the Earth. Having made a surprising comeback, the evil organization unleashes the new androids, Gamma 1 and Gamma 2. As the title suggests, they are reminiscent of superheroes, and their looks are anything but evil. So what will their battle bring about? Once again, the screenplay and character designs are handled by the original author, Akira Toriyama. The characters in the previous 2 movies were very well written. Fans can look forward to a new story spun by the original author himself. Moreover, in this work, we have taken on the challenge of presenting a fresh visual representation that more faithfully recreates Akira Toriyama's worldview while making full use of the latest technology. Transcending the traditional animation, you will be able to experience visuals that are beyond your imagination. This is the longest fucking sentence of my life, Christ. Depicting the speed and power of the battle, this big title has caught the attention of fans not only in Japan, but the whole world. And we can't wait to see it on the big screens with even more power. Like the way I ended that. Power! The new Dragon Ball movie is coming out in time for Golden Week, which, by the way, I know that's like a thing in Japan, but I couldn't tell you what it is. 37 years have passed since the start of the series, and Dragon Ball still continues to evolve. Long-awaited latest theatrical version has taken battles, drama, and visuals to an even greater level. Bro, I have never had to read so many words in my fucking life to take away as little information as I just did. Not too many new things there. We got the names of these new characters, which is helpful. And what they do, generally speaking. It's going to be the Gohan, Pan, and Piccolo movie. And I imagine Goku and Vegeta will show up at the end to save the day or help save the day. Or just to be the insurance policy to save the day. And Gohan will be like, I got this, Dad. These guys are clowns anyway. Remember when you destroyed their whole organization when you were like 12 by yourself with like a backpack full of nothing sitting on your magic cloud? You remember that? Well, now I'm an adult and I'm much more powerful than you were, so I got this on lock. Don't worry, Pops and Uncle Jeets. Welcome back from your cool training. Go home and rest. I got this. I'm cool. I'm the superhero. Something to that fucking extent, all right? So the comments from Akio Ioku, That's about as good as that's going to get, guys. He did a sit down with Victory Uchida for the Dragon Ball News segment this week on their website. And it's a pretty par for the course interview, except for one extra cool line at the end that he kind of just tacks on. Nothing specific, but maybe potentially a big hint. Let's hope. This might be like the first official sign that doesn't come from a fucking YouTuber claiming to have inside sources. So this really could be the first hint. The hint was there's also a chance that something other than the movie will be coming this year too. So let's make this year another great year for Dragon Ball together. There's also a chance that something other than the movie will be coming this year. Also a chance. You don't say that unless it's like definitely going to happen. So I think it's more about like him teasing the announcement of the return of an anime. Fingers crossed. I was a little worried when I first heard that news without actually watching the entirety of the Dragon Ball News segment that it was going to be like a new video game but we already got one of those announced being worked on in Breakers or like a new something, a Dragon Ball Roadshow like it did a few years and toured around with a fucking Dragon Ball Superheroes arcade machine. Worried to be something like that. Not the case though. It doesn't seem to be anything yet, but I think it's a pretty strong indication that it could be the return of the anime. So every time I've talked about this in the past, it's me looking at Toei doing shit and not saying shit, and me trying to surmise and basically will into existence the return of the show. People who have talked about the return of the show over the last few years, I don't know, man. At least I was pretty upfront about like, this is speculative. This is if I was in charge of Toei, this is how I would do it. But whatever, it's neither here nor there. COVID obviously prolonged everything and will continue to prolong everything the way it seems. So who knows? He said there's a chance they could announce something this year. There's a chance it could get delayed. I don't know. I hope not. I had the conversation with Raysean. You guys are going to hear in a minute. And toward the end of it, I'm like, I don't know. I just can't talk about Dragon Ball lately, I just need to do something else. And the next day, like literally, I think it was the next day, this interview comes out where it's like teasing the potential of the return of the anime. And I'm like, of course, because I said it out loud yesterday. Because I think I might want a break from Dragon Ball. And Dragon Ball's like, what? Did you say that out loud? Fuck you. We're coming back now. Talked about it. I've thought about placing this show many a times and just waiting to come back for the anime or coming back when the anime does, waiting for that. And just kind of letting the manga do its thing, especially the last few months because the manga's been pretty bad. And I always just knew in the back of my head, I'm like, the second I do that, the day I say, all right, we're putting this bitch on ice, that's the day that they'll be like, the anime's coming back, yay! They didn't quite say it so bluntly, but it's a big hint from an important person at Shueisha. So if anyone knows about the potential of the return of the anime, I'd say it's the executive producer of this upcoming movie. He probably has like an inside line to what's going on. You know what I mean? So we'll see. That's it for relevant Dragon Ball news. Going to be recording with Reese in a few hours. A quick one about Cobra Kai. This most recent season was really good. So if you watched it, get ready to listen to that shit probably next week. If you haven't watched Cobra Kai, you really should, especially if you're a Karate Kid fan. I don't know. When I first watched it, I didn't think it was the best of the 4 seasons, but the more I think about it, it could be the best of the 4 seasons. Although it has one of my favorite Karate Kid characters in it. So I don't know. I guess I have to go back and watch last season. Last season was really good as well. But this next conversation with Raysean, we talk about all sorts of weird shit. Some Karate Kid stuff. We talk about some My Hero, Pokemon. It's I cut a bunch of shit out, actually. So if you want to hear an uncut version of this with a video, you can go to patreon.com/Dragon Ball Superdope. Join the $5 tier. I would appreciate your support in the current moment because I know everyone says, just go get a job. There's so many jobs. Yeah. There's so many like shitty jobs nobody wants to do. Like they don't know how to do. It's so strange. All the shitty jobs that people don't want to do. It's like two things. It's like people either got like really frustrated dealing with people in the general public and how like crazy people can be out in public these days, and they got fed up with that and went to go do another job, found another job, whatever. Or I don't know, like 700,000 people died, so I'm sure that's probably left some open fucking jobs, right? Right? I don't know. Could be a compounding problem. Pay people more, I guess. I don't know. Train them to do things. Don't ask for 5 years of experience for an entry level job. Shit like that. Not as easy as it seems. Anyway, that's a long way to say patreon.com/DragonBall Super Dope. That's probably the most earnest Patreon plug ever, because I'm just fed up with this country, capitalism, money in general. It's very fed the fuck up. You can hear like an hour and a half version, hour 45 of me and Raysean chopping it up. This one's not quite as long, probably about 40 minutes or so, but talk about some other animes, talk about duping conservatives, and toward the end I talk about some old school super dope stuff and the boys and all that stuff. So it was a fun one. Good times. I hope you enjoy it. I will talk with you again next week. And is that all I have to say? I think it is. Go follow me on the socials. Rate, subscribe. Spotify listeners, help me out. 5 stars, please. Seen some of those 1 stars. Hating ass bitches still listening. Know to rate, but don't fucking know to rate the 5. Dummies. Okay, bye. You edit on your computer or on your phone?
I edit on my computer.
Yeah, I don't know if
it's easier for me. I couldn't do it with my phone.
They do have a way to edit on phones, though, right, Anchor?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never tried it, but I heard it's not super friendly.
Yeah, that's one thing, because like, especially probably trying to be precise.
Oh, for sure. And like, if you've got people who, take lots of long pauses or like big heavy breaths or some shit, and you're cutting fucking constantly, long pauses and breaks and shit, bunch of jamokes. Yeah. Trying to think.
I literally had that problem when I had like somebody that literally like, it's like he kept saying and like uhs and ands and uhs and like between every word, and I literally had to take them out. And when I tell you that was the most tedious day, I was so mad. I was pissed. I don't even know why I was so mad, but I was like, I'll never do another podcast with him again.
Well,
unless he's editing.
Yeah, unless he's gonna make himself sound less silly. Everyone's got word crutches, though. Like, everyone's got those words.
Mine?
That yours is basically.
Basically?
Yeah. Yours is basically.
I'm gonna try to remember that, see if I can stop myself from saying it.
And basically, like, that's your way to jump back in. And like, it's understandable way to jump back into what you're like when you're trying to get back on track or get to a point. It makes sense to use that as a phrase. But I guess there's other ways to say and basically, but also, I don't know, just get more comfortable with going back into it without that little transition word.
Yeah, that's getting more better and being like getting better as a podcaster, making the transition to conversation better.
More confidence on a microphone will help you transition away from stuff like that more. Although I catch myself doing it all the time. My biggest crutch is or whatever. I end sentences with I'm always like, it's like this or whatever. Like, I end or whatever. And I've done it for a really long time, probably long before I ever had a podcast. But I also kind of think it's funny sometimes too. So that doesn't help me from stopping myself from saying it.
I just got finished with that GT art.
Yo, which one? What, Baby?
Yeah, Baby. I'm about to move on to Android 17, it looks like.
Super Hellfighter 17. That's the shit right there.
Yeah. I keep getting moved on to different things to watch because of different podcast collabs. People be like, oh, can you watch this? Can you watch this? And I'll be like, let me try this. Then I got to this point where I literally had to tell somebody, he was like, I think I have to take a break from keep trying to like watch a whole series like within a week. Because I was like, I'm getting to the point where it's not, you can't retain all that information.
No way, dude.
It's just too much.
Nope.
And then I don't know. Guy got mad at me and said like he didn't want to do it. I was like, I guess. I
Fuck him, dude. I mean, how many collabs are you doing each month? Like, you can afford to take one or
like,
two off if it's going to save you some time from watching an anime you don't want to watch.
I'm just like,
that's why I stick to my strengths, man. That's why I stick to Dragon Ball. Even when I do talk about Dragon Ball, though, I still rewatch it, even though I've watched some of this shit like dozens of times over. It's not like I know it all off the top of my goddamn head. I know more than a lot of people would because I've just been at it for so long, 6, 7, 8 years old. But if you're going to talk about it on a microphone, like you want to bring some semblance of like, maybe not professionalism, but at least some value to the conversation. You don't want to be like, yeah, that was cool, and have that be your only input, because then you look like a fucking dick. Not worth it.
That's basically how I've been feeling like with certain like podcasts. Like when I be on there, I'd be like, I feel like I'm just surface level in it. Like I don't really have a deep understanding of that anime. Like with Dragon Ball, we can literally talk about almost any part of it because I literally rewatch it so much that I know about Dragon Ball. But like,
that's what used to drive me nuts.
Well, I just be like,
that's one of the things that does drive me nuts, I guess, is that people are always like, why don't you do this anime? Why don't you do this anime? And like, we've done a handful of other animes, but they're animes that I really fucking like and feel like I can have fun with on a microphone. Like My Hero Academia snuck up on me. It took me forever to watch it. I had to get like bullied into watching it, but I'm glad I did because it's one of my favorite
animes.
What hooked you? The superhero aspect, and then All Might. All Might's my dude.
What hooked me was the scene when Deku ran to save Kanchan. Yeah. I don't know what it was. It was just him like no powers.
Yeah, it's that moment where you go, wow, this dude's fucking crazy. He's gonna get himself killed. Like, I just watched 20 minutes about how he's like one of the weakest dudes in society.
Has no powers.
He's got no powers, and he's just running head first, and all these other assholes are just standing by, being bystanders. You know?
We need to wait for All Might. You know, that's what my thing was. They're over here like, we need to wait for All Might, and this dude just like, fuck it, like someone has to do something.
Yeah,
and I was like, I might like this show. It was like that's when Deku actually became my favorite character.
Yeah, Deku's definitely a good one to be your main protagonist in that show. Like a lot of good personality traits, and like his annoying personality traits, even those are kind of endearing. Like how much he cries, or like how emotional or insecure he can be sometimes. Like even those things are done like kind of endearingly
with toughness. I think he backs it up with toughness. Like even his fight with what's his name? I can't even think. I was about to say Kanchan, but it's not Kanchan. The fire ice dude, Todoroki.
Yeah.
That fight, I love their fight better than like, even though Kanchan and Todoroki's fight, I guess it would be like
that would be the finals. Yeah. That battle that year won like in all the anime awards, like the best fight of the year and all that shit. Deku
did it?
Todoroki, yeah. And then the next year was All Might versus All for One. That one won the following year.
That was pretty good.
That's one of the best anime fights I've ever seen in my entire life. Dude, that mid-season 3 fight between those two is one of the most badass anime sequences ever. Just ever.
The North America smash.
Yeah.
All Might having to pit it all in his fist. Yep. It to me, represented to me, it showed the biggest gap between All Might and what's his name, All for One versus everyone else.
Yeah, right.
Like how they're looking at this fight, like what the fuck is going on?
And then it's perfect. But it's just because
like, damn.
What's cool about that season is it gets to such a fever pitch in terms of the greater world of that show. Like everyone, that fight's on like the news. There's helicopters flying around and shit. Like it's the most public thing in the world. All Might's the most public person in the world. Everyone remembers, when he fought this big bad before, and All Might cleaned shit up. So to have those two go at each other in like the middle of the fucking season, kind of maybe not entirely out of nowhere, but that fight is like a season ending fight, but it's at like episode 7 or something like that. And then what they do well is after they have it, they put everyone in a position, those two in a position at least, because like you said, the skill gap between like what these two dudes can do and then what everyone else just has to sit back and watch them do. When they have to like he goes to jail, All Might can't use his fucking quirk anymore. Like that's the perfect way to reset the world. It's like, all right, we just shook everything up. All Might's out of the picture. Criminals are feeling emboldened. We all know All for One's in jail, but not dead and definitely not forgotten. And then go. They're saying that manga is going to wrap up next year, though. Kind of pissed. I'm not gonna lie. My hope is that they transfer it to like the next generation or whatever, or like the next phase of their lives. Like we're not My Hero Academia anymore. We're My Hero Pro style.
Well, we already know that. I mean, the end is what Deku becoming the best, the greatest superhero of all time, man. The end is like, this is the story of how I became the greatest hero of all time. So
yeah, but like the way that show's structured, like you could get so much runtime out of it if you just have him go through high school. But it seems like
it depends on how they end it in the manga, how far deep they go. Because I feel like how they're going right now, based on what I'm remembering from what I read maybe a week ago.
I ain't know shit about it, so
I'm not gonna tell you.
I know there's big war implications. There's some kind of big oncoming battle. I know Deku becomes ultimate badass, but like I imagine the culmination of all the shit that Deku's leading up to right now and the next year of story in the comic book, apparently,
it's all gonna come together.
It's gonna come together, but then like it's going to be like, and Deku and his friends won that day. And Deku was, off remembered hero. And then he finished his junior and senior year of high school and nothing was super eventful. And then he became a pro hero and people were too afraid to fuck around because they remember what he did back in the day or something like that. Like it could be something.
Okay. I see how you're doing. Yeah, it would be cool to see him do some like adult missions because I thought it was cool when they showed just those scenes. I can't remember which movie it was when All Might was younger. Yeah, and they were just showing him as a younger hero.
Yeah,
actually can move around
in America with David Shield like riding on the hood of a fucking convertible and shit. Yeah,
fucking lit. I think the only thing that hurts All Might is his ability not to fly.
Doesn't need to. You can do what the OG Superman did. Just leap really tall distances, really far distances, leap tall buildings in a single bound. And then one day they were just like, fuck it.
I guess it's never stopped the Hawk.
The Hawk?
Yeah, the Hawk just jumps and leaps.
Who the fuck is the Hawk? Oh,
the
Hawks.
Incredible Hawk?
Hawks? Like the guy from the anime, you mean?
No, I'm talking about the Avengers.
His name is Hawkeye.
Hulk. The Incredible Hulk?
Oh, dude. Hulk.
Yeah.
You were saying Hulk and I was hearing Hawk.
Yeah. I was like, oh.
And then I got a Hawk on my mind anyway from fucking Cobra Kai. I just watched all of Cobra Kai yesterday. And Hawk.
Oh yeah, I was listening to something about talking about the seasons and stuff. And I guess they're doing another season, 4th and 5th season now.
So this one that just came out was 4. And I thought it was supposed to be the last one. On to 5th. But yeah, I guess they have already finished filming the 5th season. And it should be out this time next year, probably. Yo, it's fucking good.
I heard they're doing a spinoff with Peyton List's character. They're going to do a spinoff with her character. Is it like a continuation of like Karate Kid? It can't be like a continuation, but
yeah, it's a continuation of the Karate Kid movies. Did you ever watch the Karate Kid movies?
Yeah, I've seen all of them.
All right,
the OG ones.
Yeah,
I'm not like a OG fan though. Like, so if you like pull out a certain scene, I'm not remembering all that.
The first one he trains with Mr. Miyagi and wins the All Valley tournament. The second one he goes to Japan with Mr. Miyagi and learns more about Miyagi-Do karate. And then the third one he comes back to America for the second year of his like karate training and gets recruited by the rival dojo and becomes like an evil karate guy. Joins the Cobra Kai and deals with this crazy rich man named Terry Silver who terrorizes him. Anyway, that's the brief synopsis of those 3 films. And yeah, they borrow from all of those movies in this show, and they do it so fucking well. It's the guy he beats in the first movie, Johnny Lawrence, a guy who gets his ass kicked from Cobra Kai. It's mainly based around him. Most of the first season is just about him, but eventually Daniel LaRusso, Danny San, he gets pulled in, and before you know it, there's lots of kung fu treachery and madness. Yo, kung fu treachery. That reminds me. You know what I'm trying to do? I just found this YouTube channel. Fuck, it's like some kind of I think it's called like Wu-Tang Master Collection or some shit like that. But it's just all mostly dubbed. There's some Chinese shit in there too. Just old ass 70s and 80s kung fu movies, like real bad kung fu movies, and they just upload them
fucking dope
in their entirety. So I think I want to do a Kung Fu Friday where we stream them and watch them and just bullshit.
Just talk about how shitty the action is. Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it's fucking fun. Sometimes it's good. I watched a couple shitty ones the other night on New Year's Eve. Dude, we had a blast.
Sort of same thing, but had friends come over, watch the Pokemon movies.
Ooh.
I didn't realize how live I like, though. I like the Pokemon movies. I actually like a lot of them.
I only remember the first one.
The first one was good.
First one was a banger.
First one with Mewtwo.
Yep.
Then you got Lugia. I don't know why. But I only like the old one. I don't like this new version of Pokemon they got coming out. No.
Oh, you mean like the redesign? Yeah, the first 200 plus episodes are like in the one style that we grew up with, but it's still Ash.
It's
right?
bullshit.
It's still the same
Ash, but it is, but it's not the same Ash and Pikachu. It's a whole they basically restarted the storyline from the over. So it's basically they redoing the whole storyline.
So is he like back in the Kanto region and shit?
Basically, yeah.
Huh.
Like, but I think he's in a different region. But he's like going to school. I think for the first part of it, he wasn't going to school or some shit.
Yeah, that's good though, because I always wondered to myself, I'm like, what kind of world do you just let your 10-year-old kid walk out the back door, go fucking catch wild animals, and never go to school and never come home for months at a time?
I mean, they literally just leave at 10 if you think about it. I don't never really remember Ash coming back.
Nah, man.
Unless it be like for a tournament.
All right, fuck it, Mom. I live outside now. And depend upon the kindness of strangers for shelter and other various necessities. Anyways, I'm 10. I can't read. Yeah. 10 minutes Pikachu.
I travel around with a woman chasing stereotype, Japanese stereotype. Because I heard they got rid of Brock because he was a Japanese stereotype, which I never realized. But until I read something about his eyes being closed.
They never man, get out of here. That's like rumors and shit. That they never really got rid of Brock. They trade him in for Casey, and then Brock comes back, and then there's like some fucking photographer kid that hangs out with them. Even when Brock isn't with Ash and Misty, he's still like hanging out with Professor Oak and shit. Is it Professor Oak? Yeah, and then him and Tracy trade spots, I think. I only know this, actually. It's very funny that you brought up Pokemon, dude. Well, last week I fell on a Pokemon YouTube rabbit hole a little bit, looking at like bugs from like the first gen games. So like, missing no and walk through walls and like all that shit, glitches we do when we were kids. Because I remember them. I only did the rare candy glitch, infinite glitch, whatever. I just watched a bunch of those, and then it got recommended to me like a recap of the original Pokemon series before they do what you're talking about, like the relaunch. And it's like it's still Ash and Pikachu, but it's not our Ash and Pikachu. They're starting from ground zero, basically.
Such bullshit. We didn't even get a championship. That's what made me mad. How you not gonna give our generation the championship?
He might have, though.
Did he win one? I don't think so.
Maybe he wasn't a Pokemon League champion, but he actually does bump into the Pokemon League champion Lance at a certain point in the anime. Like watching that thing the other day made me kind of want to watch all of the anime because it pulls a bunch of cool shit from the games. Even though Ash isn't the central person in the game, it's Red, or it's supposed to be at least. Oh, God damn, did you hear that? That was good. They pull a lot of cool shit from the game. So I kind of want to see it in anime form because I played the game so much when I was a kid. I want to see it in the anime. But this is why I stick to Dragon Ball, because I don't know shit about Pokemon or many other things.
You know, son, I've never really had anyone ever ask me to do a podcast about Pokemon. I would really enjoy that. I always have people ask me to do podcasts based on anime. I haven't even thought about saying, or it's on my list. But when I tell somebody I put something on my list, it's like, it's on my list. I'll probably watch Dragon Ball 13 more times before I get to that list. like,
I mean, unless a good podcast comes up. There's a couple I should watch, but again, it's like, I also am guilty though of watching anime and then being like, oh, I could do a podcast on this easy. And then I think about it and I'm like, I could do a podcast episode on this, but that's just not a sustainable model. Like, I'm not going to watch a full fucking season of anime to do 1 hour. You know what I mean? Like, I got other shit to do. I got fucking 5 hours of. You have
to find either someone. I mean, you could probably slide in some episodes of Cobra Kai.
I think me and Reese are gonna sit down and do a season 4 thing, I think, later this week. So that'll be cool. I'm pretty sure I did one. Maybe I didn't do like a formal one. I just kind of freaked out and gave my thoughts on it. I don't know. Either way, this will be a fun.
Reese hit me up too just the other day, was talking about Dragon Ball and how he wanted to do another review episode.
He wants to come on and talk about how he hates Elec or Gas, I think.
Gas is fucking amazing, though. I like Gas whole, like, I didn't want to use my new abilities. I wanted to use my old abilities on your ass. I just like that part of the fight of his character.
Cheesy as fuck.
I will say that he's, at the end of the day, we really don't know that much about Gas. He's still kind of like surface level. But I like that.
Yeah, he's feeling as deep as that. We know he really dislikes granola, like, and he uses energy weapons. All right, here's what we're gonna do. I'll be right back. And I mean, if you want,
he's the must.
If you want to keep talking to the camera about your fucking gas theory, to talk to the like, just get it all out. Want to do that? I'm gonna step away from the camera for a second. But I am going to upload this to our Patreon. What's up, patrons? How y'all doing, nerds? I haven't uploaded anything in a while, and I'm sorry, but here's a good half hour of me and Raysean shooting the shit professionally and about other animes. That's desirable. Fuck. Anyway, the floor is yours, Raysean. You want to talk to the camera? Feel free. You don't want to talk to me? That's cool too. Good job. Welcome.
I'll talk.
Hey.
If I'm going to talk, the thing I'm going to talk about is, I guess, Elec. Like, what do you guys think Elec is doing? Because based on what I'm thinking is, he's low-key has to be either, you have to break down what his plan can involve. Is it something that's going to be happening on the planet that's going to affect Elec? No, is it going to affect Gas and them and things? I don't think so. Based on how I think Elec is basically going to try to save himself. Do I think Frieza, like, can that be the, like, because, okay, in my plan, the reason why he's off screen or not involved with the fighting is because he's setting up for the next plan. I was talking about earlier, I don't know if that part was recorded, but I'm just going to go ahead and insert what I said a little bit earlier. When I was talking about earlier, if he's doing something on the planet, it could be doing something involving gathering the people of that planet for another part of their plan, either as a precaution just in case Gas loses and he has to basically use the people of that planet not to die from granola. Or maybe he needs their energy for something. I don't know. But we also have to think about 7-3. He can also be you gathering up wishes, or he could be going to get 7-3. You never know. And which the thing about what the thing about 7-3 though is I don't know how strong he would be versus like Alec and not Alec, but Gas and Granola. He shouldn't be on their level because Granola was able to go against Goku, who was using a stronger version of Ultra Instinct, you would think. So, I think if the robot even still has it for Moro, like if we still assuming that it can still collect and still have that data stored inside him, then he could be a threat. Let me say that he could be a threat. But then I think if he still retains the ability to steal people's abilities from a touch, yeah, that would be something. But what I am thinking is that I don't think 7-3 or Frieza is going to be coming because based on the amount of months I think the manga is going to be going on for. Because based on, I think from Jump Fest, we should maybe, and I don't think they gave us a good like time frame, but I'm just gonna say 6 months.
I don't know.
We might be getting about it.
I don't know exactly what the quote was, but I remember reading it and thinking that means April.
April, okay. So like I'm thinking since it's not gonna be so long, it's just not enough time to bring in a Frieza or even like because I've been seeing something about Broly too. People want Broly to come in. I think people just want Broly to come in every arc or every movie with Dragon Ball. Like I feel like y'all just, can we have Broly come in? I'm like, I don't understand why Broly would even come in this arc.
Those are the people who don't like my show. I think best case scenario, we could like transfer our brains and our consciousness to like a hard drive computer, and then like they could upload us to like YouTube or Twitch or something, and then we could just make podcasts from Twitch or YouTube, and it won't really be us because our bodies will be long dead, charred, and gone, but we'll still have our voices and our brains.
What if they plugged you into like? What if they just plugged you into like Dragon Ball or something?
I'd be scared because I know about all the bad things in the Dragon Ball world, you know? I'd be like, ah, shit, this is scary. Get me out of here. I don't think I could do it.
That'd be lit. You wouldn't do it? Oh, I would do it. If I get to pick where I get to start.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. If I could go into that world and be like, all right, fine, I'll go into this world, but I can fly, right? And like hang out with the Dragon Ball people so I can learn about how to do this. And they'd be like, no, you have to be a civilian. You're a dog person in West City. I'd be like, shit.
What if like they put you on West City? They was like, we can't automatically make you interact with the main cast. You have to set that shit up yourself. Like you have to go out and find Master Roshi, do that bullshit like Goku did and find him a girl. You have to make Master Roshi want to train you.
Okay.
You think you can do that?
So long as you don't start me off as a dog man, yeah. I feel like being a dog man in that world would be really difficult not to navigate. It's not as common as it used to be, you know? We had that 7-year time skip between the Cell Games and Boo, and it's like, where'd all the fucking dog people go?
You hardly ever see them.
It's like somebody rounded them all up.
You can always end up becoming the mayor, though. That's a pretty decent job.
King of the world, king of the earth. What's his title? I forget. I think they call him the mayor. That's right.
Is he the king?
Is he the mayor? In the Japanese one, he's like in the Japanese sub. It's like a king of something, king of the world, maybe king of the earth. I forget. I haven't watched it in a minute, but
I'm surprised because I mean he held that position for a long time. Because I think from when Goku was kid to
comes back in the Cell Games, I believe.
Doesn't it? Do we come back in the Boo? Oh no, that was so. It is the Cell Games. It's the Cell Games because he sends the army out to fight Cell.
I always forgot how much TV is included in the Cell Games. Like lead up to the actual Cell Games. Like he's like jumping into TV stations. Like fuck your variety hour. I have an announcement to make to the the fighters of Son Goku and Vegeta and all those clowns. I hope they're watching the station right now. In case they're not, I'm going to broadcast this shit on all the televisions throughout all of Dragon Ball Z fictional world Japan. And the town squares.
Somebody replay it.
Yeah. Hey, you guys that I met a while back. You're assholes and I'm stronger than you. And I'm going to kill you at the Cell Games in 10 days. See you there. Bye. We now bring you back.
Remember the explosion in the back. Remember the explosion in the back to show he was serious? And like killed everybody behind him.
I'm not very funny today. I think we might already have done the podcast, Raysean. Do you feel funny today? Do you have days where you feel funny or not funny? I have days where I feel funny or not funny.
I have days where I feel like, oh, today I killed it. I was super on it today, but I don't ever feel not funny because even at my core, I'm funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just might be having an off day on your side. You know?
I mean, I feel like I'm always funny, but it's not always on purpose. You know what I mean? Like I got shit that I do that I just don't even realize that I do it. And then sometimes I stop and think about it, or like I'll do it in front of somebody else and they'll find it funny. And I'm like, yeah, that's right. I'm kind of a goof, I guess.
So do you feel like you're trying to be funny? That might be what it is.
I mean, sometimes when you're on a microphone, you're much more cognizant of it. Like if you're saying something that makes sense, that's good. If you're saying something with like some cool insight, that's good too. But hopefully at the end of it, you can still tie it all together to be some level of funny. And like, I don't know, I don't always intentionally go for those funny notes, but every once in a while I'm like, ha, titties, you know, and then it's not very funny. And I'm like, shit, you're not very funny today. And I feel it in my bones. As there are other times, I don't know, man. I think maybe it's one of those things where like the more you push, the more shit comes out. You know, like you just got to let it flow naturally. If you push too hard, you'll ruin your best pants.
It's been a lot of things. It can do with the type of conversation style. Because I mean, it's sometimes like some days I feel like I'm killing it. Like when I'm with my friends, I'll be like the funniest. And then some days I feel like I wasn't really that funny today. I was just average. But other than that, I mean, most of the time, it has to do with the conversation, the people you're around. Are you cool with those people? Are you able to be yourself? Are you fully yourself? It's a lot of different aspects to what makes somebody funny. Comfort. You might feel like you might be more funny with me versus probably with a different podcaster because you don't have the same energy.
That's true. I hate podcasting with new people the first time around. It's the worst feeling sometimes. Whether it be
especially when y'all know what their vibe is.
For real. Whether it be in person, because I've had the same thing go down in person where I'm like, oh, this guy will be great to have him come over on the podcast. Then you turn on the microphone and it's like, why are you not being cool anymore? Why are you fucking weirdo now? But I've also like had the random cross. Well, I mean, I've been pretty lucky with I haven't done as many podcast crossovers as you have for sure, but I've crossed over with several shows and I've gotten along with pretty much everyone. There's been a couple where I'm like, yeah, this is cool, I guess. This doesn't feel awkward at all, but in my heart, I know it's awkward, you know? That doesn't happen very many times though.
See, with me, it's like, I feel like when you were talking about earlier about one of your fans saying how like I end the episode, some people I can only have a conversation with them about what's in that episode. And once the episode is over, it's done.
Nothing else to talk to them about.
I can't really like it'd be so awkward when it'd be like the podcast be over. I literally just be like, well, thank you. And just exit it out and be like, and text them on Instagram, like, oh, that was amazing. Thank you for coming.
So is like, that you just being awkward as fuck? Or like that might be a you thing.
It could be. It could be a me thing. It could be a me thing. It could. Some people it's easy for me to have a conversation with afterwards because we have we have like some anime we can communicate with for long periods of time. Then some people, we literally just watched this anime. So I mean, like after this episode, it's like, what else we gonna talk about? It didn't really seem like other podcast shit. Like,
I mean, some people are like, I don't know. I feel like I fall somewhere in the middle in terms of how I do anime podcast or Dragon Ball podcast. Let's be real. Some people stick to the source material so much that it's like the only thing they'll talk about in the episode. And like I try to trend more that way, just because I know not everyone who checks out my show is super interested in what I got going on. They just want to learn about Dragon Ball or whatever. Try to respect that. And I think a lot of anime podcasters take that route where they're like, yeah, let's just talk about this. Let's not try to be funny about other things. Let's just try to talk about this, be funny about it. Hopefully, have a good conversation. But then you got the complete opposite end of the spectrum where it's like, yeah, we talk about anime, I guess. And then they just use that as an excuse to like try out shitty stand-up bits or whatever. And it's just like super cringeworthy in terms of like the comedy level. And then it's just not very informative from like the anime level. So it's like you're fronting as one thing to try to be able to get in your work as another thing. And you're kind of doing a disservice to both. I don't know. I feel like that's the more common thing for anime podcasters. Actually, I lied. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm somewhere in the middle, so I can call out both sides. Find people and terrible people.
I feel like I started off with what you were saying, kind of just sticking straightly into just talking about what I'm talking about, and then after a few episodes, but I also feel like it's also to like getting more comfortable and speaking too. And then now my podcast episode could be, we talk about what we're saying we're talking about, but then we go on tangents about anything. Like, but I mean, to me, that's how a conversation actually works. A conversation you have with like your friends and buddies doesn't just, we talk about Dragon Ball, and most of the time we talk about Dragon Ball. For some reason, we're talking about Wolverine and the Hawk, the Superman. Like we go through almost every genre in the world, and before we get back to like, oh yeah, we're talking about Dragon Ball. You know what
That's
I mean?
true.
But
I had somebody hit me up the other day and say like, dude, where's some of your other friends been? Like Mike and Brandon specifically, maybe Jimmy too. And I was like, they're busy. Like Jimmy's got babies, Brandon's got a life, Mike has a job now. And, they don't follow Dragon Ball like I follow Dragon Ball. So for me to try to drag them out like a couple times a month to do a podcast, it's more work for me to try to get them on board and then somehow, facilitate them either getting here or me going to them, me having to deal with them on not using a microphone well in most cases. But like, they do kind of yearn for those old episode vibes, because I would just like yell at my stupid friends because of that level of comfort. They'd say stupid shit. I'd be like, what are you, fucking stupid? And like simplify and explain Dragon Ball to them in that way a lot of the time. And I guess there's some comedic value there that I wasn't really thinking about. People enjoy that kind of vibe. But I don't know,
that whole conversation type of aspect of it. You can't even recreate those moments. Like even like if it was three of us and you try to script the podcast, you can't recreate those moments because you just can't. The things your friends will say and the things that make things work and correlate within your group is just different. It just really is.
Yeah, I think maybe that's the vibe that they miss. The vibe of the group in general, because like when they do come around and we have microphones on again, it's that same kind of vibe. Like we have a very specific level of comfort with what we can say and, do to each other, whatever. And I don't know, no offense to you or GB or anybody else, but like, I don't have that with you guys because I haven't been friends with you guys for 20 years. But nowadays though, I almost get a little too guilty of the first style of just sticking too close to the source material. It's especially apparent when we're doing manga reviews where I'm just like, then this happens, 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 then this happens. And as I'm editing it, I'm like, dude, I have talked for like 6 minutes straight about what just happened. and I haven't heard really anything from the other person I'm talking to. All right, let me ask them a question now because I have to get them back involved in the thing. And then when I do get to the question that I asked them, it sounds like me saying like, "Hey, I got to ask you this question now. What's your answer, asshole?" You know what I mean? Like, it's just a very clear differentiation between the two different types of content. And it's just weird because you set out to do the same thing with both, but I don't know. Sometimes it
But
just
so
goes
yeah, think
different
about
directions.
the difference though. Your friends will know when to cut in and cut out. You know what I mean? Like me and you, I would probably think it would be rude to cut in while you're talking. You know what I mean? Versus like if I'm your friend, you start talking, I'm like, no, let me just throw in that. That's probably what you're more used to doing, having happen.
It's true. Well, at least back then too. And you know, if Jimmy says some dumb shit, I smack his beer out of his hand and say, clean that up, stupid. Stuff like that. Just, I don't know. It's just interesting to think about, at least for me. It's probably not interesting for anybody else who's going to end up hearing this. It's interesting to think about like the content that we made back then, the circumstances with which we made it under, like proximity to each other, learning the skill of podcasting in general, how to talk about shit, how to structure a show, how to make sure you don't miss shit, how to do things like logically, sequentially, things like that, but still trying to make it semi-entertaining at the same time. Thinking about like, I don't know. Sometimes I felt it came so naturally back then. Then there's other times where I'm like, dude, we didn't have a fucking clue as to what we were doing. And now it's almost like, I feel like now we almost have too much of a clue. And it's like, dude, loosen up a little bit. Stop talking about manga chapters and shit, you fucking nerd. Why don't you just talk about, you know, all the problems you have with the sport of tennis, or talk about how you don't think that milk chocolate is the worst chocolate because it's actually, you know, made with milk or whatever. People hate it for that. They want like the dark bitter chocolate. I'm like, yeah, that one's cool too. Why y'all hating on milk chocolate? I could go on rants like that. Don't drink. I gave a lecture to my friends on New Year's Eve about like properly ingesting alcohol and the ways in which you should and shouldn't do it. I could give those types of life lessons and pointers, but no. Instead, I'm talking about how Dragon Ball is doing the same goddamn shit today that they've been doing since 1991 and getting angry about it and wasting my life. So
you're not wasting your life.
No, I'm not wasting my life. I guess this is what is Dragon Ball Super Dope to me? Dragon Ball Super Dope is like my little practice playground for a lot of things.
You're a musician, ain't you?
Yeah.
So what is your like? What do you consider your actual thing?
My job?
If you mind me asking. Yeah, like what's your actual like? You get paid to do this.
Right now,
I mean, podcasts. You get paid from everything, huh?
Right now, it's podcasts.
You just like podcasts?
No, yeah. I mean, I worked in mortgages. I didn't get my contract renewed because COVID happened. I lost like 100+ gigs in 2020 because of COVID. I haven't been I still say I'm a musician. I am, but not a working musician at the moment. In March will make 2 full years. So March 15th, I believe, will make 2 full years that I haven't played a show. I've like gone on stage and done a few songs here and there and shit, but yeah.
Has it because nothing's opening, or you haven't gotten back out there, or
it was a little bit of both. Like a bunch of shit closed, calendars basically folding in on themselves, and I haven't got back out since. I have some friends who got back out really quick, like within like 7-8 months or whatever, and they were back out playing for whatever reason I didn't understand. Maybe not 7-8 months, maybe a little bit longer than that, maybe closer to a year. But I do have friends who are out back working again, and actually I have a lot of those motherfuckers posting about how they're losing work right now because this new variant's ramping up. People are starting to close down or try to take social distancing precautions again, which sometimes equals into a band losing work for the night. Yeah, it sucks, dude. So I'm almost kind of happy that I didn't look to rebook my calendar for 2021, but also my anxiety has gotten so bad, dude. The idea of me holding it down for 4 hours on a stage, which, you know, the 4 hours is 45 minutes of playing and singing, 15 minutes off, repeat, 3-4 times in a night, depending on where you're working. The idea of doing that, no way. Frightening as hell. I mean, not frightening is not the right word. It's just, why would I want to do it again, I guess? Outside of money. Money's made me think about booking again, where I'm like, oh shit, I could definitely use some cash right now. That's been the only times where I'm like, oh, I should get back out there and do it. Because otherwise,
you didn't like the experience.
It's
I don't know. I feel like I don't know if it's the same type of experience you get, like people standing up and applauding, or
no.
I don't know if music gives you that same type of.
Sometimes it's like that. It's like that. Like 1 out of every 8 times, people applaud for you. Most of the time, you finish songs and they're like, just still talking at my table as I'm eating dinner with my girlfriend.
Oh, you were playing?
Yeah, oh, that wasn't the radio. But then, you know, playing in a small town where I live, like a lot of people come out to a bar, popular bar in town that might see me playing. And I'm like, I hate that so-and-so is in the corner right now watching me play. I don't want to be here right now. Like shit like that would happen to me all the time. People that I know like used to talk shit about me would just be there like on their phone at their table. Like sometimes I had one dude take videos of me a few times a couple of years ago, I should say. And like a party wanted to be like, hey, Billy, what are you doing, dude?
Stop taking fucking pictures.
What are you sending those? Where are you sending those photos, dude? Because I know that you don't like me, and I know that you know that I don't like you because you're a little fucking twerp. But no, keep laughing and take videos of me, you fucking dick. I will literally break you over my knee, Billy.
See, I wish I just had that confidence you had to perform at all.
You just got to know that you're better than everybody. And that sounds like a joke and like I'm being conceited. One or the other.
No, I mean, you got to have that type of confidence.
You know what, though? That's actually probably not the best way to feel about it because you're never going to be better than everyone. But if you go and for you, I'm equating with a comedy open mic because I feel the same way. I've been to a few comedy open mics and never performed, but like it's crossed my mind. But I look around, and this is how I started with acoustic open mics when I was a kid. I would go to open mics, other people would play, and I'd be like, that wasn't very good. I can do as good as that. And then that's how I would like trick myself into getting up the courage to play those first handful of times. I'd watch other people for a few hours. I go, that wasn't very good. And then I would, you know, go up and try to do better than that not very good person.
I'm about to take a bathroom break. I got to go to the restroom.
Yo, I was going to say, I think we're done.
Okay.
You did a good job.
I didn't want to.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Why don't we do this, right? So bathroom breaks are cool. I encourage you to take them regularly. This has been a really fun. Are you going to like piss your pants right now? Or do you have like 2 minutes in you?
I got 2 minutes. We can hear you.
Okay. What I think was fun about today we were supposed to talk about Dragon Ball, but I don't know what the fuck this just became. The unedited version, Patreon, you guys will see it. I think I'm going to turn this into something else later in the week, a shortened version of this to protect our identities and true feelings about a multitude of issues. If you want to hear the uncut version, patreon.com/Dragon Ball Super Dope. And like 100 other plus uncut extra podcasts there. So go check it out. This was like a cool little test for what our show could be if we're not talking about anime, you know? But like, I don't know. We're kicking. I got a couple of ideas I'm kicking around. I know you've got a few ideas brewing. I think I might need to get away from Dragon Ball for a little while. Like, I'm reaching that point the last couple of months. Like I realize a lot of it ties to how much I'm not enjoying the manga. I think maybe
if I do like some current event, like
yeah, some kind of random thing. But we need like segment ideas. I would love to do an advice show. I just don't think I have enough reach to properly solicit advice from people. But I would love to do an advice segment, dude, for sure. So I don't know. This is like a fun little pre-test to see what we got else, what else we may have coming up for people in 2022. In the meantime, where can they find your shit, Raysean?
You can find me on all your podcasting forms. Just type in RGAP, anime podcast. If you're searching on Google, you got to add anime podcast. For some reason, I am not the biggest RGAP in the world, so some other bullshit comes up with it.
We gotta figure out a branding thing for you, man. The RGAP name, like I know what RGAP stands for, but if you say that your podcast name is RGAP to somebody who doesn't know what it stands for, like, the fuck does RGAP mean?
Yeah, I don't know. To me, it just came together when I was thinking like, Raysean got an anime podcast. And I've seen the letters and I was like, oh shit, that's a word.
You should have I think you should have went at the RG anime podcast or the GAD anime podcast. I don't know. You need the word anime in your title though, I think. A as in the shortened R gap, I don't think helps. Whatever. You got to pee. I got to pee. We'll talk about more of this later.
All
okay.
Right.
Make sure you rate and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, all the places where the podcasts live. Uncut episodes, they live at patreon.com/DragonBallSuperDope. Patreon.com/DragonBallSuperDope. That was a fun little experiment.